All right, so now number 44, dealing with percentages and tips. So tipping, this is very important issue in the community. So tipping, Addison left an 18% tip of $6.75 for a meal. Letter A, what was the cost of the meal before the tip? Letter B, what was the total cost of the meal including the tip? Okay, so Addison left an 18% tip. And it's always good to like read these problems over and over again, at least like 3 times to make sure they make sense. Addison left an 18% tip of $6.75 for a meal. What was the cost of the meal before the tip? So we're saying 18%
is 6.75.
So we can restructure that into a question in order to figure out what the total amount was. So we could say like 675.
Is what percent of?
Well, we know the percent because it's 18.
Oh, yeah.
So how would we say that?
The number is 18% of 6.75.
Well, no, because not of 6.75, because remember 18% and $6.75 are equivalent.
So 6.75 is 18% of X?
Yes, that's one way we could say it. Well, that's the equation. But if we just wanted a general question, we would say, because the cost of the meal is the total amount that the 18% is based on. So when you pay a tip, you're saying, okay, I'm gonna leave, what percentage you're gonna leave? Because you know how you come out with the receipt and they already have it like pre-calculated. 18% is this much, 20% is this much, 22% is this much. So
I read this one wrong.
So that happens. It happens. Happens to the best of us. So 18%, no, 6.75 or $6.75 is 18% of what? And there's a few ways to do this. Like we could translate it into an equation and then solve the equation. We could set up a proportion, which I call the Malcolm X method, when we set up the proportion, because we got to cross multiply and go in an X formation anyway. Or we could use, I guess we could use benchmark percentages. That's a little more involved. With this type of question, that's a little more involved. So out of those first two, let's stick to those first 2 options. So what y'all want to do? You want to do the Malcolm X method, or you want to do just translate it?
For all the tip problems, I put it into like the word problems that we learned before. For all the tip problems, that's what I did.
So I put it into like what percent?
Yeah, like what number is I did this one.
So you just translate it. All right. So again, so this is English language, and we're gonna go from English language to math language. So this stays the same, right? Just like in Spanish, how like Spanish, in Spanish, no means no, in English, no is no, right? So sometimes it's the same, all right? So this becomes 6.75. What does the word is become?
Equal.
Equal sign, right? So is an equal sign, just like we see like verbs, like these verbs like are, will be, should be, right? 18%. 0.18. You can say 0.18, right? If we wanted to be technical, we would bring the 18 down, and then the percentage would represent something multiplied by 0.01, which gives you 0.18 anyway, right? What does of mean? Multiplication. So I'm gonna use a dot for multiplication. And then what does what mean? What means X, or any variable. You wanna use X, we can use X. So I got 6.75 equals 0.18 times X. 6.75. Say it again. What's the next step?
Divide both sides.
By what?
0.18.
Right. Why are you doing that?
To get X on the side by itself.
Right. Because when we solve any equation, we want to get the variable all by itself. Right. So that means this 0.18 got to go. And the way we get rid of it is by doing the opposite operation that it's already involved in. So this is involved in multiplication. So imagine 0.18 is like a character. in the story. This character is involved in multiplication right now. So we want to do the opposite operation to get rid of it. So we're going to divide by 0.18 on the right side. And then we got to stay balanced, just like our ancestors in ancient Kemet, talking about Mayat, harmony, balance, order, and all that. So if we divide by 0.18 on the right, we divide by 0.18 on the left. So this is just one, right? And I ain't even extended that far. I'm about to do this. Yeah, we can do that. I might confuse somebody. So now, somebody better calculate. Do 6.75 divided by, make sure you divide by 0.18, not 18. 37.5? So we got 37.5 is equal to X. So now we're looking for a dollar amount. So how do we make this look like money? Well, besides that, well, what else? Add a zero. So this will look like change, like 50 cents. So $37.50. So $6.75 is 18% of $37.50.
So
18% of $37.50.
I just read this problem wrong.
That'll happen. It's easy to read these problems wrong.
And I read it wrong, but I feel like I got the right answer from the way I read it. But now I see like the actual way to read it. David left the 15%.
B is 44.25.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I did like that.
What does B say again?
What is the total cost of the bill, including the tip?
Cool. So this was part A. How do you find part B? How do you find the total cost? Add, because total means addition. Total means the sum you get when you add the parts. So this is the meal. The meal was $37.50. And we just figured that out by doing all this. The tip is $6.75. So we add them up. $37.50 plus $6.75. The way I would do it, what's 37 plus 6? 43. 43. Just like 7 plus 6 is 13, 37 plus 6 is 43. The number in the ones place is going to be the same as if he was doing 7 plus 6. So that's 43. And then what's 50 cents plus 75 cents? $1.25. So we talk about $43 plus $1.25 is $44.25. Y'all both got that?
Yeah.
$44.25.